A predator with 4 million subs, a murderer with over 1 million followers, and a streamer that killed his girlfriend for a donation. This is the Horrible YouTuber Iceberg. I made this iceberg myself and it's only made up of the truly terrible. I've made it so that as we go deeper in the iceberg, the more depraved the YouTubers are. So let's start at the tip of the iceberg. TmarTn was your average YouTube Let's Player at the time, so he decided to take advantage of the trend of CSGO gambling. He started making videos where you open crates in the game, where you could have a slim chance of winning a special item like a rare skin for your knife. So with the gambling craze, TmarTn, along with another huge YouTuber being Syndicate, started promoting this random website called CSGO Lotto, where you could spend real money for the chance to win in-game CSGO items. They pitched it to their audiences as just a cool site they had found and wanted to share, as they both acted as if they coincidentally happened upon it, enjoyed it, so started advertising it to their viewers.
And we found this new site called CSGO Lotto, so I'll link it down in the description if you guys want to check it out. But we were betting on it today, and I won a pot of like $69 or something like that, so it's a pretty small pot.
But as it turns out, TmarTn and Syndicate actually co-owned the site, and were profiting from all the fans they directed to it. The revelation obviously caused quite a lot of people to get angry, because not only were they directing their audience of preteens to go gamble away their weekly allowance, but also not disclosing ownership like that is, well, technically illegal. But then came TmarTn's response video. He tried to address the controversy, but people weren't buying it. The video was vague, dodging the main issue, as he spent most of the time reiterating that he wasn't a criminal and what he did wasn't illegal, disregarding the fact that it was just a scummy thing to do. Plus, it looks like he set up his camera to show off how spacious his mansion is, with his expensive car positioned right in front of his house's glass door. The whole thing came off as pretty forced, and not really a sincere apology or explanation. The video got slammed with dislikes and backlash, and eventually TmarTn decided to delete it. Now Ben Rich, or as you might know him as Bold and Bankrupt, is one of the most popular travel vloggers on the platform, and I myself was a fan until about a year ago. Online there are certain circles and forums dedicated to what's called the game. The game is essentially the art of picking up women and perfecting your craft and getting them in bed with you as quickly as possible, and then leaving to seek the next as soon as you have. A prolific member of the various forums dedicated to these pickup artists is Volkuta, who has an outstanding amount in common with Bold and Bankrupt. Now being on a pickup forum may not be so bad on its own, but let's talk about Volkuta and how people figured out it is overwhelmingly likely to be Bold and Bankrupt. Volkuta discusses in various forum posts a rape charge he and his mates got acquitted of in Winchester. The strange part is that Volkuta's story matches a real rape case reported in a local newspaper, the Southampton Daily Echo, with Benjamin Rich Swift being named by the judge as being particularly appalling as he grinned and giggled throughout the court proceedings. Now obviously the Benjamin Rich we know and Benjamin Rich Swift could very well be two different people, though it gets even more unlikely when you realise that Benjamin Rich Swift, as it says on their bankruptcy order, also goes by Benjamin Rich. The article also points out that Benjamin Rich Swift and Bold and Bankrupt are the exact same age, though perhaps they're just two strange coincidences, though it does get thicker. The name Volkuta actually comes from a town in Russia. The town was actually featured in a magazine called The Spectator, written by former Soviet Union lover Ben Rich. Again, it could just be a coincidence, though Volkuta and Bold and Bankrupt also have very eerily similar life stories, as they both lived in Brighton, are both bold, and are both around 6'3", which could all still be a coincidence. However, both their timelines in India, including running a guest house for 4 years, line up perfectly.
What was supposed to be a 1-month journey actually turned into 4 years. I fell in love with India completely and ended up opening my own hotel in the country.
Then there's the Russian connection, as both are into the Russian language and culture, and both describe having a Belarusian girlfriend at the exact same time. Volkuta talks about how he games women in great detail. His most effective method involves becoming friends with local men and older women, like babushkas, and then gaining their admiration and respect by accidentally showing them fake pictures of himself in fancy places, like sitting in a fast car in the south of France. Volkuta then believes that this makes the locals, including the older women, spread the word about the rich foreigner who just came into their not-so-great town. After that, he drops the fake friendships with the men and older women and moves in to start getting closer with the younger women, a tactic Volkuta calls the Schindler technique. Volkuta identifies as an amateur photographer with a real fascination for the former Soviet Republic. Similarly, Bold and Bankrupt shares his passion, as he once served as an unpaid photographer for the now closed Desolation travel website, where a certain photo of Ben Rich, or the person we now know as Bold and Bankrupt, can be found. Bold and Bankrupt's book was published under the pen name Arthur Chichester. Sections of the book are very clearly, as this Amazon review puts it, sanitized versions of the post by the Ligurian, another one of the many aliases used by Volkuta. The Ligurian tells the story of a 16-year-old girl he met called Katya in rural Russia. The Ligurian describes Katya as a slut and admits they got physical. Here's an excerpt read by Bold and Bankrupt from his book, put side by side with a post from the Ligurian.
Katya put her hands on my waist and leaned in to kiss me. A silence filled the closed space between us. Katya, listen, I understand, she said, cutting me off before I could finish, embarrassed that she had misread the signals. She turned and pressed the magnetic key into the slot before disappearing into the darkness of the vestibule where she once collected her letters from Antonio. The clunky steel door slowly closing with a metallic thud behind her. I turned and walked back to the hotel along cracked pavements as the rain began. The Burning Edge, Arthur Chichester, available on Amazon. Buy it.
There is tons more evidence to suggest that Vorkuta and the Ligurian are Bold and Bankrupt, like this pickup forum post by user Tractor, who is heavily speculated to be Irish Partisan, which is another travel vlogger. In the post he mentions hanging out with Vorkuta, who he refers to as Mr. Bold.
Меня зовут Bold.
And as well as Harold Boulder, a frequent collaborator of Bold and Bankrupt and fellow frequenter of the forum. If you aren't yet convinced, I don't think you ever will be, and that's okay. Whatever you believe, Vorkuta, aka the Ligurian, is undoubtedly a very nasty man, as shown by the time he boasted about picking up a young hitchhiker, but then shortly after conversing and finding out that she's completely broke, he coerces her into performing a sex act on him in exchange for the equivalent of $6. I mean, imagine yourself in her shoes, driving alone in the middle of nowhere with a 40-year-old man that, as he describes it, just locked eyes with you through his rearview mirror before asking if you're willing to prostitute yourself. I mean, if you are a fan of his, just stop to think, have you ever seen him vlog at night whilst abroad? And let's not overlook the fact that all these morally questionable incidents occurred after the same individual had already been cleared of a previous sexual assault accusation. Really makes you wonder what kind of person would be acquitted in such a trial, only to then resume their fixation on pursuing young women through any means necessary.
Hey guys, it's Shannon, and today I'm here to admit something pretty dang important about myself. I am a narcissist. That's right. I was fully diagnosed by
CreepShowArt, whose real name is Shannon, made her name on YouTube as a commentary and storytime artist. She was known for her videos where she talked about various topics, often relating to internet drama or social issues, while displaying her artwork. Her channel was well liked for its content that blended personal anecdotes with broader commentary. But things get weird in mid-2021, and it all revolved around the website lolcow.farm, which is an internet forum known for gossip and discussion about various online personalities, though it's mainly just used to organise harassment against people they don't like. What happened was that the admins of lolcow.farm revealed that Shannon had been posting on the website. They stripped away her anonymity because she'd been self-promoting her channel and talking about herself in third person, often defending herself from insults and complimenting herself and her artwork, as well as using the forum to badmouth and backstab other YouTubers. The fallout from these leaks was immediate. Her fans were obviously angry and disappointed over Shannon's frankly strange actions, though after the controversy exploded for Shannon, she tried to defend herself with a rather complex story. She claimed that a lot of the damaging actions attributed to her were actually the work of her stalker she referred to as Amy. According to Shannon, this Amy had been harassing her for over 8 years. In her narrative, Amy is this vindictive figure who's gone to great lengths to ruin her life, even to the extent of impersonating her online and posting in her name. She claimed that Amy had even affected her personal relationships, including with her husband. However, Shannon's story about Amy raised a lot of eyebrows. People started questioning the validity of her claims, especially because it seemed so convenient and didn't really make any sense. Then came Emily Artful, another content creator, as she stepped forward with some serious allegations against Shannon and her husband. She accused them of prolonged and severe harassment, which included getting her fired from multiple jobs, causing her to be homeless. In a detailed and lengthy video, Emily chronicled her experiences and interactions with Shannon and her husband. She claimed that Shannon had been a major source of torment in her life for many years. This included allegations of Shannon creating fake accounts to defame and harass Emily, as well as threatening to release compromising images of her taken when she was just 15, but worst of all, the fact that Shannon's husband had actually assaulted Emily. Following the intense backlash from the lolcow leaks, on top of the accusations from Emily Artful, Shannon went silent for a significant period. This break from social media and YouTube was her response to the mounting controversies and the widespread criticism she was facing. However, CreepShowArt eventually made a return, but this comeback wasn't exactly a smooth or successful one. On December 31st, 2021, she uploaded a video titled The Lies of Emily Artful, with evidence. In this 2-hour-long video, she attempted to refute Emily's allegations and defend herself from the claims that had been made. In the video, Shannon tried to debunk Emily's claims, but it didn't seem to go as she hoped. Despite her intent to clear her name, the video only served to make her bad situation worse. as instead of refuting any of Emily's claims or bringing up any counter-evidence, the video seemed to further confirm the obsessive and harmful behaviour Emily had described. Shannon claimed that she never stalked or harassed Emily, but seemed to accidentally let slip that she knew what colour Emily's wallpaper was in her house. And somehow she knew of the existence of all her old Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, old DeviantArt accounts, and MySpace account from when Emily was just 13. In the end, Shannon's return to the online world seemed to do much more harm than good to her reputation. DaddyOFive is an extremely infamous YouTube channel run by Mike and Heather Martin. The channel was a family YouTube channel, seemingly typical with its pranks and daily vlogs, but it wouldn't take you long to realise that something isn't quite right with the Martins' pranks on their children, especially with their son Cody. Their videos often showed them screaming, cursing, and even physically confronting the children. The most notorious example of this is in the invisible ink prank video, where Mike falsely accuses Cody of making a mess that he'd actually made earlier himself, leading to Cody getting screamed at until he breaks down crying, all for the sake of the vlog. In another one of their pranks, Mike announced a family trip to Disneyland, but said Cody wouldn't go, claiming he smeared feces on the bathroom wall after the invisible ink prank. Heather even admitted they wouldn't have taken Cody anyways. Though again, showing how much they care about their son, during an interview with Keemstar, Mike and Heather confessed that the feces story was a complete lie made up for attention. Though Cody was the main target of their pranks, the couple's other children were often harassed and ridiculed to the point of breaking down on camera. Mike's response to the backlash was denial. He insisted the pranks were just for entertainment, claimed they were fake, and said that the children's reactions were exaggerated and acted out. But this defense crumbled under a little bit of scrutiny, especially as they tried to suppress criticism, even directing their followers to attack one of their main critics at the time, being Philip DeFranco. The issue started to gain international media attention. In another interview with Keemstar and later on Good Morning America, the Martins admitted that the pranks were real, but continued to claim that they weren't abusive. This did little to quell the outrage or fix their tarnished reputation. The situation reached a legal climax when Mike and Heather lost custody of Cody and his sister Emma, with their biological mother Rose Hall regaining custody. Following this, almost all the videos on the DaddyOFive channel were privatized, leaving only an apology video up. Despite everything, Mike uploaded a video on July 7th, 2017, thanking his fans for supporting him and hinting at the channel's soon return. However, by September 14th, they announced on Heather's channel MummyOFive that DaddyOFive would no longer be active, focusing instead on family vlogs on the MummyOFive channel, with their 3 other children being Alex, Ryan and Jake. A whole year later, on July 18th, 2018, YouTube finally decided that the DaddyOFive channel, along with all their other affiliated channels, would be terminated due to their mistreatment of their children. However, that's not the end of DaddyOFive. The Martin family still uploads today on their channel simply called The Martin Family. The content is obviously far from the child abuse that it was in 2016, but I still find it strange that YouTube even allows them on the platform after all they've done. Austin Jones started out as a musician and content creator on YouTube and Vine, known for his music covers, original songs and personal vlogs. However, most know him today for his criminal acts. In May of 2015, the website PupFresh reported that Austin was involved with texting his underage female fans. Evidence surfaced including lovely videos of Austin instructing his young female fans on how to twerk, which I'll play for you now.
Hey cutie, so this is like the first basic twerk move. So this is what you do. You stand with your legs apart, you bend your legs, and then you arch your back, and you don't arch it. You do it faster, so it's like this. Now it's your turn.
As well as sending that video to his underage fans, he also received allegations that he manipulated them into sending him nude photos. On the 15th of May in 2015, Austin announced a break from his music to attend therapy, citing his negative interactions with his fans. He also withdrew from a tour he was meant to go on and released a video titled Setting the Record Straight. In this video, he admitted to communicating with the minors for twerking videos, but denied allegations of grooming or exchanging of nudes. Austin's video was very typical of a YouTube apology, explaining how he was in a dark place at the time, attributing these reasons to his delayed response to the controversy. The video obviously received mixed reactions, with some of his fans actually forgiving him, while others demanded further action. Over 2 years later, in June of 2017, Austin's situation escalated dramatically. He was arrested for 2 counts of CP production, and a search of his phone revealed even more inappropriate texts with fans, including the exchanging of nudes. After posting a $100,000 bond, he was placed under house arrest without internet access. YouTube faced criticism for not shutting down his channel immediately, with their response stating that the controversy didn't relate to his content, so his account didn't need to be terminated. In February of 2019, Oster pleaded guilty to CP production and was sentenced to 10 years in prison, with his current release date set for New Year's Eve in 2027. Following his guilty plea, his YouTube channel was finally deleted, and he was sent to prison on the 28th of June. Lionmaker was your run-of-the-mill Minecraft YouTuber, making content aimed at children. The controversy around him started gaining traction when Drama Alert, a YouTube channel obviously known for covering controversy, stepped in. On September 19th, 2015, Drama Alert posted a video interview with a parent who accused Lionmaker of attempting to obtain nude images of their daughter. This was the beginning of a series of allegations that would completely destroy Lionmaker's career and end in his channel's termination. In December 2015, it came out that one of the fans he sometimes featured in his videos, Paige the Panda, who was 15 at the time, was in a relationship with Lionmaker. Lionmaker then confirmed this to be true on Twitter, and then followed it with an uncensored nude photo of Paige, and then said if he gets one retweet, he'll post more photos of her. The situation escalated further when on March 7th of 2016, Colossal is Crazy released an expose detailing all his crimes and essentially clarifying the whole situation. Despite the mounting allegations and growing hatred towards his videos, Lionmaker's channel bizarrely continued to gain subscribers. There were also rumours that I couldn't find any solid proof of that Lionmaker had spent about 10 months in jail for trying to produce CP. On November 6, 2016, Lionmaker appeared in an interview hosted on Colossal's channel, attempting to defend himself against the accusations. However, he only dug his already deep hole deeper. 2 years later, in December 2018, Paige, the daughter of the original parent who appeared on Drama Alert, uploaded a video on her personal channel. In this video, she detailed her side of the story and her experiences with Lionmaker, and essentially clarifies all the things we already knew. Joshua Hoffman, known as Kero the Wolf online, was a slightly prominent figure in the furry world and a YouTuber from Pittsburgh. He gained a bit of mainstream YouTube attention when he appeared on Shane Dawson's channel, talking about being a furry. But in September 2018, things took a turn. Telegram chat logs began circulating online, purportedly showing Kero discussing acts of bestiality and necrophilia. Alongside these logs, messages were shared alleged to be of Kero admitting he partakes in these acts with his own dog. Kero obviously vehemently disputed these claims, pointing out that the chat logs were either fake or he was hacked. Yet some minor technical analysis suggested that faking these logs was nearly impossible in Telegram, as the user ID in the chat log seemed to match his real account. Kotherex, another YouTuber, uploaded a video on September 28, 2018, claiming he confronted Kero about the logs. According to Kotherex, Kero admitted the logs were real, but denied engaging in any physical acts with his dog, which obviously conflicts with the logs themselves and doesn't really make any sense. On the same day, Kero did another interview with Ashley Zoe Fox, insisting that he's never done anything with any animals. He reiterated his claim of the hacked Telegram account and said that the logs were mostly fake. Interestingly, despite the contradictions between Kotherex and Ashley's videos, Kero retweeted Kotherex's video, calling it the more accurate one. As of today, Kero's channel is still up, though he very rarely uploads. Peluchin Entertainment is a Chilean gaming YouTuber who played your typical horror games like FNAF and Slenderman. Now, anyone who knows Peluchin would tell you he's not a great person. He's xenophobic, often degrading and insulting other Latin Americans, like in his feud with Mexican YouTuber Super Wario Man, where he called him a Mexi monkey. His actions in 2017 at his high school were even more alarming, as Peluchin was accused of sexual harassment, including sending explicit audio recordings of himself to a classmate and touching others inappropriately in the school. The behaviour led to an investigation by the prosecutor's office for abusing two classmates, though nothing ever came of it. Though neither of those things are what he's known for. In December 2018, a video surfaced showing Peluchin abusing his cat, Jason Kruger, by doing things like throwing him violently, kicking him, and lifting him by his tail, which actually killed him. Peluchin's response to the backlash was actually quite disturbing, as he claimed he didn't care about his cats and would continue adopting them to kill them. In 2020, the issue was brought up again by Penguin Zero, who highlighted how Peluchin's actions had inspired other YouTubers to commit animal abuse. Peluchin Entertainment's channel was eventually terminated for violating their terms of service for animal cruelty. The aftermath of his channel saw more YouTubers imitating his actions purely for their 5 minutes of fame. Though even after all the controversies, Peluchin continued to interact online, even admitting his wrongdoings in a 2020 video. He claimed that his abusive behaviour was a response to being bullied, and that he had changed his mindset and gotten rid of the sick in his head after a stint in an asylum. Now, ChrisChan is a character which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. They've had several, sometimes hour-long videos dissecting their life, but we're not going to do that here as it would double the runtime of the video. We're just going to discuss their most infamous act and the aftermath. For a needed bit of context, Chris has been one of the earliest and most extensively documented individuals on the internet due to both their conduct online and offline. Their original YouTube account was created on May 8th, 2007, mainly featuring content relating to their fan art and their own artwork. They deleted this channel on September 11th, 2008, after claiming it was hacked. However, fast forwarding to over a decade later, ChrisChan's life would be changed forever. On July 30th, 2021, audio files and text messages were leaked online, in which Chris detailed graphic instances of assault against their own mother, Barbara. They claim these acts began on the 27th of June that year. In the messages, Chris acknowledged that their actions were causing pain to their mother, who had reportedly asked them to stop. Additionally, there were also concerns that their mother may have been suffering from dementia at the time. Consequently, an emergency protective order was issued on the same day, leading to Chris's removal from the family home. They were not allowed to return or interact with Barbara until August 5th. However, they violated this order the following day by withdrawing $750 from Barbara's bank account without her permission. Initially, Chris denied any involvement, but later admitted to having online access to Barbara's bank account, as they claimed it was for an emergency. Subsequently, on August 1st, 2021, Chris was arrested in Richmond, Virginia, where they had been staying after being evicted from their home. However, today, Chris is out of jail. They posted a video on the 17th of October 2023 called Setting the Record Straight, where they said they were proven innocent in court and were subsequently released, and that he had to sit in jails for the sins of the online trolls, and then calls himself a reincarnated Jesus Christ. Aside from the reincarnation part, Chris is telling the truth, as on the 8th of August 2023, all charges against Chris were formally dropped. However, that doesn't change the fact that he admitted to his crimes in what he thought was a private setting. NickBate, someone you probably wish you never heard of, created his first YouTube channel, DrNikalusBate, in 2009. The channel focused on vlogs and just general lifestyle content like house tours and talking about his interests. However, it wasn't his vlogging that brought him to notoriety. Nick's personal hygiene habits, or lack thereof, became a point of ridicule. He admitted to not showering or cleaning himself properly, only ever washing his hair. His dental hygiene was also so poor that it led to most of his teeth just falling out and the rest becoming yellowed. But more disturbingly, he admitted to being a coprophiliac, revealing that he often smeared feces on his wall. His attitudes towards employment and relationships were also interesting, to say the least. Nick expressed a desire to be a house husband to an underage wife, where he'd do nothing but just sit around all day. In a psychiatric evaluation in 2015, Nick disclosed having homicidal thoughts towards his family members, attributed to what he called their conservative views, though he claimed that he'd never act on these thoughts. The most serious allegations against Nick emerged in 2015. He was arrested on charges of incest involving his half-sister Amber when she was just 6 or 7 years old during 2009 to 10. The case involved deeply disturbing and graphic details that I can't even begin to tell you that related to his coprophilia. Nick had even publicly stated that he believed paedophilia should be normalized and legalized in the US. In 2016, a Kiwi Farms user documented Nick's court case, revealing that Amber, then 12 years old, was forced to testify about the grooming she experienced. The specifics of her testimony were not clearly detailed, but the outcome was. Nick was found guilty and sentenced to 16.5 to 40 years in prison. He has since attempted to appeal his sentence twice, but both attempts were denied. Stas Reeflay, a Russian streamer, was big due to the trend of trash streaming, which is far from your typical gaming or vlog content. Streamers will do insane, often illegal stuff when viewers donate money, and Stas, considering he's on this iceberg, took it to another level. In his streams, Stas regularly abused his friends and girlfriend that he featured on his streams for donations. Though his first big controversy started with his former friend Valentin, who was homeless at the time. Stas has let him temporarily stay at his place, but then of course the chat starts egging on Stas to prank and abuse Valentin, like throwing water in his face and somehow tricking him into drinking urine. But when asked, Valentin just said he was cool with it and there's no need for intervention. Stas, his girlfriend Valentina, and their friend Marina are drinking heavily. Someone in chat donates $1,000 to see Valentina get picked up and locked out on the balcony. Keep in mind that this was at night and it's minus 3 degrees Celsius at the time. Stas and Marina try to drag her out and there's a fight and a struggle, but what you don't see on camera is Stas eventually subduing her, forcing her to only wear her pants, and then tossing her outside in the cold before locking her out. He then just goes back to streaming, ignoring Valentina banging on the door wanting to be let in. But when he finally does go to check on her, she's lying there, lifeless on the balcony. The stream keeps rolling as he brings her body inside and tries to revive her using CPR and slapping her face. It's all captured on camera. He's then seen starting to call for an ambulance with tears in his eyes, but keeps on streaming and drinking until they show up and pronounce her dead. After all this, Stas gets arrested and instantly banned off YouTube. He then flips between feeling sorry for her and trash-talking Valentina, even claiming that she was a prostitute and a drug user, so she would have died soon anyways. Stas faced an involuntary manslaughter charge and a 6-year prison sentence.
Hey everybody, J-Dub here with another I Like Candy. I just got finished filming a review, so that's why I've got the hat on this time. But I wanted to try, I got a package. It didn't come with.
Justin Carmichael, known online as JewWario, was a YouTuber who made gaming videos and had a pretty dedicated fanbase. In early 2013, Justin, facing some challenges, announced on his Tumblr that he was leaving the group That Guy with the Glasses, ran by the Nostalgia Critic. But he still planned to continue his personal channel with more gaming videos. However, on January 23, 2014, his wife shared on Facebook that Justin had taken his own life. In her post, she thanked his fans for their support and mentioned that Justin was dealing with financial troubles and ongoing depression at the time. Though fast forwarding to 2018, things get slightly more complicated. A few former That Guy with the Glasses and Channel Awesome producers put together a document called Not So Awesome. It detailed a lot of issues they'd had with the site's management, including claims of abuse, neglect, and manipulation within the company. In this document, someone going by Jane Doe revealed that she was groomed and sexually abused by a That Guy with the Glasses producer, but she didn't name any names. Then That Guy with the Glasses responded to the claims in the statement. They included screenshots of chat logs where they discussed dealing with the accused producer, though the thing is they accidentally revealed that the discussion happened around the time Justin left the site, implying that he was the one accused of these actions, which seriously damaged his reputation posthumously. Though the very next day, a Reddit user claimed she was assaulted by Justin while she was unconscious. Her story was later backed by a former That Guy with the Glasses forum admin, as well as a former producer, giving it more credibility. So JewWario's story is a complex one, as he was a beloved figure in the gaming YouTube community, but his posthumous allegations have really cast a shadow over his legacy. We're now moving on to Tier 4. Samantha Woolford had a small YouTube channel but aspired for more in the entertainment industry. She aspired to be a big-time actress, so she thought she could first make her mark on YouTube, discussing her life and the challenges of being a young mother. She had 5 kids, twins with her high school boyfriend, another set of twins, and a 5th child with Ernie Ibarra, who she met back in 2008, but they officially got together in 2011. Though the relationship was far from perfect. The couple had a big fight over Ernie marrying another woman in a video game. Ernie was working 2 jobs to support their family of 7, but it wasn't easy. Samantha thought her YouTube channel might ease their financial burden. But in 2015, everything started to spiral out of control. Samantha started to get sick of Ernie, and instead of just ending the relationship, she wanted Ernie taken out of the picture. She started to develop a plan with her team of friends being Jose Ponce, Jonathan Sanford, and Octavius Rhymes. Their original plan was to plant drugs and then get Ernie arrested for possessing the drugs, but it soon escalated into a full-blown murder scheme. On February 20th, 2015, Samantha called the police to say that she and Ernie were brutally attacked by a home intruder. Samantha was supposedly bound and gagged but managed to free herself, though Ernie was nowhere to be found. The police found Samantha looking visibly shaken by the incident, however we know that's not what actually happened. In reality, Samantha and her friends brutally attacked Ernie in his home, kidnapped him, and eventually he was shot dead. His body was found in a remote area near a lake. People have speculated about why Samantha would go to such an extreme, as some think she did it for the fame, while others believe it was because Ernie threatened to leave her and take the kids. In the end, all 4 of them were sentenced to prison. Jonathan and Jose got lighter sentences as they were only included in the kidnapping part, but Samantha and Octavius were convicted for both the kidnapping and murder. Alyssa was your typical beauty and lifestyle content creator, and she had a channel where she shared makeup tutorials, fashion tips, that kind of stuff. However, I could not find a single re-upload of her videos anywhere, so I guess no one cared enough to back them up. The only surviving content I could find were a few screenshots and photos of her makeup. Though either way, behind the scenes of her makeup and beauty videos, Alyssa was hiding something. Alyssa had been hiding her pregnancies. In 2017 and 2018, she gave birth to 2 babies at her home, but neither of these pregnancies were ever brought to the public light. She didn't go to a hospital or seek any medical help. What's really horrifying is that Alyssa didn't keep the babies. She hid their existence and discarded of each of them in a trash can as soon as they were born. The whole thing came to light when Alyssa showed up at a hospital with heavy bleeding a few days after the 2nd pregnancy. She initially denied having given birth, but eventually admitted to the hospital staff what she'd done to the child. From there, the authorities got involved. When the police pressed her even further, they found out about the 1st pregnancy and the tragic fate of both the babies. Dayvault was sentenced to 40 years in prison. When the verdict was read, she didn't show much emotion initially, but then when asking the judge to reconsider her sentence, which had no chance of parole, she broke down. She apologized and mentioned her other daughters, hoping they'd forgive her one day. She also apologized to her ex-boyfriend Chris Madison, the father of the infants, and his family. Nasim Agdan was a YouTuber who got quite a bit of attention, especially on Iranian social media. She was known for her activism, like protesting with PETA against the use of pigs in trauma training by the US Marine Corps. Because Nasim's content consisted of pro-vegan videos that were extremely graphic, it resulted in her channel becoming demonetized. But things took a really dark turn on the 3rd of April 2018. That day at 12:46 PM, there was a shooting at YouTube's headquarters in San Bruno, California. Nasim, who was 38 at the time, was the shooter. She got into the place through a parking garage, walked up to the outdoor patio, and started firing with a Smith & Wesson pistol. In total, 3 people got shot, one of them being critically injured, with another person hurting their ankle trying to escape. All the victims were taken to San Francisco General Hospital, as well as the Stanford University Medical Center, though fortunately they all recovered. Nasim was upset with YouTube because they kept demonetizing her videos, and it simply seems like her frustration with the platform just boiled over in the worst possible way. After the shooting, Nasim took her own life. JinnKidd, whose real name is Ali Abulaban, was known for his content on TikTok and YouTube, where he gained a following for his impersonations of characters like Scarface and skits about NPCs in Bethesda games, though he's obviously not on the iceberg for these shorts. Ali reportedly installed a listening device on his daughter's tablet to eavesdrop on his wife Anna, who he very much suspected of cheating on him. At the time, Anna had actually kicked Ali out of the house, so he simply listened in using the spy app. When Ali heard a male voice through his daughter's iPad, he found himself in a fit of rage, and he said in an interview he exclaimed to himself, "Oh my god, I caught her, I caught her." He then went to his apartment where he found Anna and her friend Rayburn Barron kissing on the couch. Ali then shot and killed both of them out of pure anger. The case obviously shocked many, including his over 1 million followers across both platforms. As though they knew his online persona as JinnKidd, they obviously weren't in touch with his personal life.
Yo, what's up guys, it's Aaron Campbell here, again for another video. So I just wanted to say...
Aaron Campbell was born in England on the 7th of May 2002, though he moved to the Isle of Bute, which is part of Scotland, when he was young. Campbell's upbringing included elements of physical and emotional abuse, as he often argued with his alcoholic mother. He had been diagnosed with ADHD and he wished to be a YouTube star, and posted several videos of him doing trampoline tricks. When he was just 15 years old, Campbell began to consider doing something excessive. In 2017, he posted on Facebook saying he might kill one day just for the lifetime experience. He was soon after entered into a rehabilitation program when he was caught starting fires. On the 2nd of July 2018, Aaron wanted to smoke some marijuana, so he called around asking someone to sell it to him, but no one would. The teenager had previously bought the drug from Robert McPhail, so instead he thought to steal it from him. Aaron went to Robert's house, which he found to be unlocked, as was common in the area, and upon stepping inside he entered the first room closest to him. There he found Alicia McPhail, a 6-year-old child, sleeping on a bed. Campbell then picked her up, carried her to an abandoned hotel, assaulted her, and then strangled her. The child was reported missing at 6:23 AM, and she was discovered by a member of the public at 8:45. The Scotland police charged Campbell with the abduction and murder on July 5th, 2018. He denied any involvement and pleaded not guilty when his trial began on the 11th of February 2019. The trial lasted 9 days, and the jury deliberated for 3 hours before returning a unanimous guilty verdict. Lord Matthews, the judge presiding over the court, said that Campbell's crimes are some of the most wicked and evil crimes the court has ever seen. We're now moving on to Tier 5. Jake Davidson created YouTube channel ProfessorWaffle back in 2016. He talked about inceldom, the black pill worldview, which is essentially extreme nihilism and totally giving up on life.
I just don't have any willpower to do anything anymore. You know? I know a lot of people say, oh, that's weak-minded, that's pathetic, but dude, it's like how many years I've been working out, how many years I've been wanting and dealing with all these frustrations. You know, it's like I was just doing a session just now. I was thinking, what am I doing this for? Why do I?
In his final video, Davison described himself as being really down and out and beaten by life. He didn't exactly call himself an incel, but related to people who felt they only had themselves. On the 12th of August 2021, it seemed like Jake couldn't handle living any longer. The police got a call about shots fired on Biddick Drive in the Kiam area. Inside that house, 22-year-old Davison had just shot his 51-year-old mother after an argument. But he didn't stop there. Davidson left the house armed with a pump-action shotgun. Out on the street, he shot and killed an extremely young girl, as well as her 43-year-old father. Then he moved on and injured a 53-year-old woman and her 33-year-old son in a nearby house. After that, he killed a 59-year-old man in a park. Then Davidson went to Henderson Place. There, he shot and killed a 66-year-old woman. Jake noticed that someone had actually witnessed the murder, and he turned to him and simply told him not to worry. Witnesses then describe him walking away completely expressionless. And in the end, he shot himself on Henderson Place. Davidson was also an active Reddit user, though just the day before the shooting he was completely banned off the platform due to asking a 16-year-old to repeatedly have sex with him, using the justification that it's legal in the UK.
Hey, what's up you guys? Hope you're enjoying your summer break. The reason I'm making this video is because I need to tell you my YouTube story. It's been officially 2 years since I joined the website, June 9th, 2008. And I just want to tell you guys how I got started.
Randy Stair, known online as Pioneers Productions, was a bit of a complex character. He was described as shy and introverted growing up, always preferring his own company. His real special interest was Nickelodeon cartoons, as he would draw the characters he saw on the television. When he turned 18, Randy tried working at McDonald's but quit after just 3 hours. His dad then got him a job at the Ways supermarket, which Randy kept for the income, despite not liking it. Randy started his YouTube channel Pioneers Productions in 2008 at 15 years old. His content was a variety of let's plays, vlogs and sketch comedy videos. As I said, Randy has always liked and enjoyed Nickelodeon cartoons, but later became completely obsessed with the character Ember from Danny Phantom and started a new channel dedicated to her called Ember's Ghost Squad. On the channel, Randy made his own spin-off series all about Ember. He did all the animation and collaborated with different voice actors for the project. But as Randy's mental health slowly deteriorated, he uploaded videos talking about his psychology, his hatred for humanity, and of course his unhealthy obsession with the fictional character Ember. On June 8th, he uploaded the last episode of Ember's Ghost Squad, which depicted Ember carrying out a school shooting. The video was unfinished as he couldn't get enough voice actors to agree to voice Ember or any of the other characters due to its violent nature. Randy meticulously documented his plans in journals and videos, talking about dying young, gender dysphoria, and his disdain for the world. Randy had written in some of his earlier online journals that he thought Ember wanted him to kill. He ultimately decided to flip a coin to decide his fate. If it landed on heads, he would just take his own life, but if it landed on tails, he would commit a mass shooting. As you can expect this deep in the iceberg, Randy scored tails. Randy hinted at his plans on Twitter and made a video touring the supermarket workplace, including all the aisles and exits. Then on the 7th of June 2017, Randy went off to his night shift at the Ways supermarket. He uploaded links to all his private videos and journals onto Twitter, retrieved 2 shotguns from his car, then blocked off all the exits within the supermarket, trapping all the employees in with him. As he walked the aisles of the supermarket, he ended up killing 3 employees. As gunshots rang out, one of Randy's co-workers, Kristen, turned to see an employee drop to the floor. She then saw Randy staring at her. They paused for a moment, but then Randy just walked away, sparing her life. Once he decided he'd finally done enough, Randy sat down and took his own life. The shooting didn't actually get that much mainstream attention, but the local community in Pennsylvania was deeply affected. The Ways supermarket itself expressed their condolences, but the store reopened only a month later. Pekka Erik Orvanen was born on the 4th of June in 1989 in Finland. To most people he was regarded as a shy student who isolated himself. However, several students noticed a sudden change in his behaviour, stated that he acted threateningly, and sworn to them that they would die in a white revolution. According to one of his teachers, Orvanen was a militant radical who had piqued interest in both the far left and far right movements. As it turns out, Orvanen was a Nazi. Online he went by different aliases, including YouTube channels like Sturmgeist89, as well as Natural Selector 89. His content there was dark and violent, focusing on uploading footage of things like school shootings including Columbine and other violent terror attacks. He was also outspoken on his channel as an atheist, and he expressed support for social Darwinism. Then on November 7th, he didn't go to his first class and instead uploaded a YouTube video. In it was a picture of his high school that he'd edited to be red, with an image of him flashing on screen with a gun pointing at the camera. By 11:37 AM, he was at the school, entering through the basement. Pekka Erik had been preparing for this day for a long time. He had wrote a manifesto in both Finnish and English, obtained a firearm permit, bought a gun and ammo, and practiced shooting in the woods, which he would upload online. The massacre started at 11:42, first shooting a student through a window, and then moving through the school. In total, he killed 8 people, including students and staff, and injured several others before shooting himself. He died later that evening in the hospital. NotSoFantasticDevon, real name Devon Michael Erickson, was a YouTuber who streamed gameplays, particularly of the game Dead by Daylight with his friends. The content itself wasn't anything out of the ordinary, but what happened to Devon on the afternoon of the 7th of May in 2019 was, Devon and his friend Alec briefly left Highlands Ranch STEM school during their lunch period and went to Devon's house. It turned out that this wasn't just a regular break from school. According to Devon in police interviews, Alec had been planning an attack for weeks, and Devon claimed he only learned about it the night before through Snapchat. Devon said Alec threatened him into opening a gun safe in his home so they could retrieve 2 pistols, a revolver and a rifle. Devon claimed he feared for his life, and that's why he went along with Alec's plan. Alec, who is a transgender man, mentioned he wanted to target the students who had bullied him, wanting them to suffer the trauma he had. Alec admitted to hearing voices in his head and having homicidal and suicidal thoughts since he was 12, but refused medication as he would feel alone without the voices. The voices win was even written on a piece of paper in Devon's house before the shooting. As the attack started, Devon yelled for everyone in the classroom to get down. In the ensuing chaos, 3 students tried to stop the attack and jumped on top of Devon. The gun was then fired, killing 18-year-old Kendrick Castillo. Devon maintained that he never intended to harm anyone and that the gun was fired accidentally due to the struggle. Alec in all of this was in a different part of the school, where he managed to wound 4 students before being taken down by a security guard. In the court proceedings that followed, Alec actually testified as a witness against Devon, saying that he and Devon had both extensively planned the shooting, and that the story of Alec threatening him into it was completely made up. On June 15, 2020, Devon was found guilty on all charges. Then on September 17, 2020, he was sentenced to life in prison. Trey Eric says that, also known online as LensCapProductions, but more famously as his old username, Mr. Anime. Trey was known for his anime reviews on his YouTube channel. In February 2012, he mentioned he'd be taking a short break from the channel as a reward for the work he'd been putting in. Then in March, he updated his fans that he got a new job and might not be posting as much, but he still planned to keep up with his blog. Though Trey isn't remembered for his anime reviews, on the 20th of March 2012, he lured his mother Rhonda into the garage and shot her, then went inside and shot his brother Mark, and then his dad Lawton. After that he wrecked his house and then killed his pets. Trey had this chilling plan to become the biggest mass murderer in history. He wanted to attack a pep rally at Waller High School and aim to kill at least 70 people. He killed his family first so they wouldn't know what he was planning. But as he left his house and when it came down to it, he just backed out, as it became all too real to him. He then returned home and got arrested. The police found out that Trey had been planning this for years. He stored weapons in his college dorm, practiced shooting on buildings and animals, and was obsessed with mass shootings like Columbine. After his arrest, a lot of YouTubers made videos about the situation, and even some of his fans and close friends couldn't believe it, but eventually Trey admitted to everything. He got sentenced to life in prison without parole, as the judge said he'd be a danger to himself and others if he ever got out. In his home, they found writings on the wall where he expressed his regret and asked God's forgiveness because he couldn't forgive himself. Jared Lee Lerner was born on September 10, 1988 in Tucson, Arizona. Very little is known about his early life, but as he grew older, it became evident that he had significant mental health issues. He struggled with severe mental illnesses, including schizophrenia. Lerner's YouTube journey was far from conventional. He posted several videos to the platform to express his increasingly bizarre beliefs.
The war that we are in right now is currently illegal under the Constitution. What makes it illegal is the currency. The date is also wrong. It's impossible for be that date. It's mind control.
His channel contained a collection of cryptic and incoherent videos. Lerner often talked about government conspiracy theories, as well as things like mind control. His most infamous and final video, Introduction to Jared Lerner, was posted about a month before the act he would commit. The video itself was a simple slideshow of written text that I honestly couldn't make any sense of. It talks of dreaming, sleepwalking, and the ability to control your own thoughts. On January 8, 2011, Jared Lee Lerner's descent climaxed. He carried out an attack on the Congressional Corner event, with the target of his attack being US Representative Gabrielle Giffords. He first got as close as he could to the politician and then opened fire. Tragically, 6 people lost their lives, including a 9-year-old girl, though Gifford herself was only critically injured and survived. I don't think there's any point in trying to pinpoint an exact reason as to why he did it, as there likely isn't a definitive reason. His actions raise questions about the accessibility of firearms and how someone like Jared could so easily have access to them.
Hey, Eliot Rodger here.
Eliot Rodger was born on July 24, 1991 in London, England, but he grew up primarily in California in the US. He came from a relatively affluent background, with his father being a filmmaker and his family having connections in the entertainment industry. Despite his privileged upbringing, Rodger struggled with social interactions, particularly with women from a young age. Eliot Rodger's YouTube channel is a significant part of his story, although it wasn't your typical content. He created a series of videos in which he expressed his frustration and anger over his perceived rejection by women and his loneliness. He would mainly sulk about the issues he had faced and how women never give him a chance.
I deserve girls much more than all those slobs I see at my college who are somehow able to walk around with beautiful girls. I mean, even in the college town that I stay in during my semesters, as I walk around like the common areas of those towns, or the areas where all the college parties happen, I see these obnoxious guys walking with beautiful girls. And that pisses me off because I should be the one with the girls.
One of Eliot's many problems is that he never took any responsibility for his issues, and instead pushed the blame on other people or things out of his control, like being half Asian, which he thought the blonde white woman he so desperately wanted to notice him disliked. That is until he saw an Asian guy talking to a white girl, and then he became confused and enraged as he couldn't understand how a white girl could, and I'm paraphrasing here, but love a full-blooded Asian and not a beautiful Eurasian like him. These videos generated some concern from his small audience, as the way he talked about women and men he called obnoxious was more than disconcerting. On the 23rd of May 2014, Eliot's rage culminated into a violent rampage in Isla Vista, California. He first murdered 3 men in his apartment building, 2 of which were his roommates at the time, after which he went to a coffee shop to get coffee. He was then spotted in his car fiddling with his laptop, which was later realized to be him uploading his 100-page long manifesto detailing his life and struggles, as well as his final YouTube video.
Hi, Eliot Rodger here. Well, this is my last video. It all has to come to this. Tomorrow is the day of retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity. Against all of you.
Eliot, sitting in his BMW, instead of complaining about girls not wanting him, seemed to think enough was enough, and it was his turn to punish women. He planned to do so by entering what he called the hottest sorority house and destroying those inside. After posting the video, Rodger then drove his car to the Alpha Phi sorority house, which is near his college of UCSB. He then got out his car, knocked on the door, and merely waited for a few minutes. When no one answered the door, perhaps what Eliot saw as his final rejection, he just began shooting indiscriminately at the nearest people he could find, killing 2 women. He then began shooting into random shops, killing another man, and then Rodger randomly drove his car around, purposely striking people with it, though no one died. He then crashed it onto a pavement where the police found he had committed suicide. All 6 people of the killed attended his college of UCSB. Eliot was completely delusional and had disconnected with reality, but there were of course many warning signs for the impending attack, with the most obvious being his YouTube vlogs. In January of 2014, Rodger's parents had actually contacted the police in regards to his YouTube videos, though the policeman who visited Rodger seemed to think he was well enough, with Rodger sending them off simply saying he had a misunderstanding with his parents. In his manifesto, he detailed how in his ideal world, women would be kept in concentration camps, then be systematically killed off. Cultural Philistine, better known by his real name Adam Lanza, started his channel back in 2011. His videos were quite unique in the sense they were just him genuinely talking about his opinions on a range of topics, from religion to mental health and anti-natalism. The videos themselves were just a black screen with his voice, and they were often broken into multiple parts, with his last upload dating back to January 2012.
I hadn't cared enough about life to pursue anything, but I hadn't cared enough about death to kill myself. So I'd just been spending a lot of time moping, and I thought, why not participate on YouTube? That way I can fulfill my desire to express my hatred for culture and what it's done to me.
For a long time, his channel remained unknown until 2021, when it was discovered by users on a subreddit dedicated to mass killers. The channel, which had about 840 subscribers and over 25,000 views, was taken down shortly after being found. Going back to 2006, Adam himself was extremely isolated. He spent most of his time playing World of Warcraft and talking about school shooters. only ever leaving his home to play Dance Dance Revolution at an arcade. He was active on forums focused on the Columbine school shooting, where he'd post about his obsession with the mass shooters under the alias Smiggles, and edited Wikipedia articles about shooters and terrorism under the username Canebread. Though as he slowly spiraled on isolation, Adam's obsession took hold of him. In the morning of December 14th, 2012, Adam murdered his own mother Nancy. He then drove to Sandy Hook Elementary School, where he committed one of the most horrific attacks in American history. He broke into an elementary school, and I really don't need to say the rest. The exact sequence of events is a bit unclear, but when police responded and entered the school, they found Adam had committed suicide. In total, 28 people lost their lives in the event, including 20 students of the elementary school, 6 school personnel, Adam's mother, and of course, Cultural Philistine himself. The aftermath of the attack was one of profound grief, with Adam's father, Peter, even expressing that he wished his son had never been born. And that concludes our iceberg. You can check out the only other video I've made about illegal and disturbing video games if you want something else to watch or listen to. Thanks for watching.